Alright, so this is the die that I'm going to use for my hills. Now this particular die has a bunch of different layers and some of them have trees. I'm going to be using the layers that don't actually have the tree pieces on them. If you wanted, you could absolutely create it with all of the layers and have the trees, but because for this particular card I wanted to use these trees, we didn't need them in the background. I kind of thought that they weren't going to add anything to the card, so I just left those pieces out. You'll notice in my sample card I did more greens, and these ones I'm going to do them in the same colors that I did the mountains. Because I wanted it to be a little bit more wintry looking. Now this particular one here, I layered the lightest on the back, next was the darker one, and then the white. I think for this one here, I'm going to change the layers just a little bit, just to kind of see what the difference, like how the difference looks. So I've got my pieces out here that I'm going to die cut. Put that there. I think I'm going to use my darkest color for the background. Again, the pieces of cardstock I have here are 4x6, but I can actually fit 2 within one piece of paper. So I only need one 4x6 piece of each color in order to create this background. So die cutting them one at a time. So I did the darkest color first. Let's do the next one here. And obviously I'm using a Big Shot and dies for this. You could actually use a Cricut and create your own files to create these mountains and these hills and these trees and stuff like that. That would work as well. I tend to use my Big Shot machine more than I use my Cricut machine, so I prefer doing it this way. I like the way the cut finishes. So next one for this particular card, I'm going to use the white. And once again, I just like to lay them on top while I've got them cut. There we go. Little piece in here that wants to stay in there, so let's take it out before we cut the next one. And there's really no right or wrong to these layers. I tend to like a little bit of a blue-gray for doing these mountains and hills, just because to me it's a little bit more realistic. You can do them whatever colors you're wanting them to be. I think that's part of the beauty of this, is being able to do it in so many different colors to get different seasons and whatnot. All right, so that one is done, and now let's do the lightest gray. Now if you're doing a ton of them, obviously for this particular color, you can fit enough to cut more than the pieces for 2 hills, but that's all we need for this particular card, so that's all I'm gonna cut. This one here, when you're cutting it, it comes out in 2 different pieces. So make sure that you get both of them. And there we go, there's one, the other one stuck to my plate. So there we go. So now we have all the pieces. I'm going to tidy up a minute, and then we will start to assemble them in the next video.